Hello, everyone. So I wanted to go over, I wanted to go over today how I'm doing with my hormones and everything I'm doing, and also how you can fix them if you. Oh, sorry. Anyways, let's get back on track. I know I said how I fix my hormones, but you can never truly fix them. It is a lifestyle choice. So if you go back on to your old lifestyle, everything will start to happen again. You have a propensity to get this with certain lifestyles, just like, if you start doing drugs again, you're going to have those symptoms again. I don't know. So, some of the reasons that we get hormonal imbalances can include things like any sort of childhood disruption, things like divorce, things like stress, things like SA, things like there's a whole slew of things that can cause hormone disruption. Even things that happen when the mother is pregnant, drugs she takes, toxins she's exposed to, some cleaning products, some skincare products, some environmental products, like if she's gardening and putting pesticides on the garden and it's a windy day, things like that can accumulate and then they can cause hormone problems for the woman and any eggs that she has inside of her body, future kids, future generations. It's a big mess. There's a lot of medications that they used to give women that can cause generations of hormone problems. So when people say this really upsets me. When people say things like, "Oh, I don't have that problem. It must be something you've done because, I just eat really well." That makes me so upset because you have no control over generations before you. You have no control of what your mother did when she was pregnant. You have no control of your childhood experiences. You have no control of these things. And also, there are medications that they can put you on when you're young that can have these effects when you go through puberty. There's a lot going on here. So let's not blame people because you don't know what you don't know when you don't know it. So, let's start at the beginning. I always had high testosterone. And as soon as I got my period, I started menstruating. Very high testosterone, which I did not know at the time is what I had. So I was very lean, easily put on muscle, lean muscle. So like I looked great, but I would break out a lot, which you could see testosterone, but not oily skin. So technically, if it's not oily skin, it's not diet related. And then you have to also remember that, another thing, I also had extremely painful periods. So that would be the endometriosis. And you can have both, and you can switch from PCOS to endometriosis and back and forth and back and forth. So my periods were bad and I would lose tons of blood, very painful, horrible, anger before the period. Now, I did have all the risk factors, divorce, stressful childhood, stressful life, stressful home environment, lots of toxins in the house, lots of candles, lots of fragrance, lots of, not sleeping very well because I had to wake up at 5 a.m. and I would get home and then have to cook and do my homework, and sometimes I wouldn't get to bed until midnight. So we're talking like a whole slew of compounded things. Also, I wasn't getting enough animal protein. If you're vegan, you're going to have problems. I'm sorry. Especially if you're eating the fruits and vegetables in the United States that are filled with pesticides. So you're just basically drinking, like all the fluid in the fruits and the vegetables will be pesticides. So that's not going to be very beneficial. And I know you can get organic and stuff. And if you're lucky enough to have an organic farmer's market, or you can get regenerative farm fruits and vegetables, that's a different story. Good for you. But the majority of people cannot get that. So I always say just start with very high protein food from the best. I would say it would be lamb, goat, because they only graze, they don't eat the garbage stuff like they can get the cows to do. So then you get higher quality meat. And yeah, just eat the lamb and the goat. But if you can, if you have the money for it, go and get grass-fed, grass-finished beef. It's better for you. And I know some people say, but there's pesticides. They use that and blah, blah, blah. There's glyphosate, blah, blah, everywhere. They have several stomachs, and for whatever reason, they're able to get that out of their bodies. We do not have that ability, but cows do. So that's good. The only thing they can't do is if they're eating corn and soy, the GMO corn and soy, that can mess up their hormones, and therefore we eat it and it can mess up our hormones. So, and yes, they don't always eat grass. Sometimes they have to eat hay or other things. That's fine. We're not worried about that. These are just some of the things that come up when I tell people these things. Anyways, so for the PCOS, like everybody, when you have painful periods and you have acne and all these symptoms, they tell you, here's the birth control pill. And of course, when I first wanted to get on it, because I was in so much pain, my mom said, no, because you're too young and then you're going to have sex or something like that. And whatever, I understand, like, parents get worried about that stuff, but I was in a lot of pain. Of course, now I realize that it was a terrible decision because it pushes you more estrogen dominant, because the progesterone and estrogen in the birth control pill, they're synthetic and they don't do what natural bioidentical progesterone and estrogen would do. And we now have the ability to find compounding pharmacies that can get bioidentical estrogen, progesterone, estradiol, all the types of estrogen, and you can kind of tweak it to what you need to feel good. This was not something we knew about back then, so this was not an option. I got on the hormonal birth control. I needed to go through 8 different birth control before I found one that didn't make me massively depressed. Pretty much massively depressed, or still did not get rid of my painful cramps, nausea, migraines, all that stuff. Eventually, I found one. It worked for a while, couple years, I'd say 5 years it worked. And then I started having massive migraines, and my doctor was like, you got to get off of it. It's going to cause a blood clot. You could die. Lots of people die on these. You need to get off of it. But I was like, but I look good. My acne's gone. I feel good when I don't have a migraine, which never happened before. My periods are very light. She's like, you're not having a period. You're on birth control. That's a false period. That's why it doesn't hurt, because it's not real. So I was just like, okay, fine. And then my husband wanted me to get off of them. He's like, I'm studying in school about them. They're completely toxic. Get off of that. I don't care. Whatever. We'll have 50 kids. Just don't be on birth control. So I was like, okay. Got off birth control. And all my symptoms started coming back. And now I had weight gain because of the synthetic estrogens, which are terrible. So I'm blowing up with fluid, because it's not fat, it's fluid. There's something else that they don't tell you. There's a diuretic in birth control. And so you lose fluid while you're on it. So you look like very thin and very nice. Some people gain weight. Depends on where you are before. So for me, it made me like lose any bloating and fluid retention. But since I was on it for so long, when I got off of it, my body wasn't able to recalibrate and go back. So then I had just all this fluid, and I'm still like puffy everywhere from the birth control. Like, that doesn't go away. 10 years of being on a diuretic does not go away overnight. There's just a lot of issues. So that's something to think about before you slap a Band-Aid on something. Every single medication that works, every pharmaceutical that works has a side effect. So think of that before you get on it. Okay, so some of the things that I did after that were I took a bunch of supplements and herbal medicines and stuff like that. And it did help with the cramps and things like that for a while. So that was good. But then I got into a very stressful situation. Let's like fast forward a couple years. And then my thyroid got messed up because I was under extreme stress. My dad's in the hospital. He's like in a coma or something. And it was for months. So it was sustained stress for months, and I blew up. Like, I got super fat with fluid and weight and everything. And then I also had like a big lump in my throat, and I knew, oh goodness, this is thyroid. So when you have PCOS and endometriosis, when you're young, you have to be very careful and monitor your thyroid, because as soon as you get perimenopausal, that can go haywire, and you need to keep your thyroid as functional as possible, as optimal as possible, because that's going to help you with the other hormones and make sure that your menopause transition is smooth and that you don't age rapidly after you're in menopause. So I went, they put me on levothyroxine and spirulactone to lower my DHEA and testosterone. So that would lower that to kind of balance me out or whatever. But those medications have side effects. And the spirulactone especially, and it has like a honeymoon phase where you lose a lot of fluid weight and you feel really good and you look good, but then later on you start developing the fluid again. It's just like, I think it kind of like works your kidneys or something, and then like they can't keep up with the medication signaling, and they just kind of just give up, and then you just become overrun with fluid. So a lot of people get on it, look really skinny, and they think, oh, I lost so much weight, I look great. And then like a year or two later, 3 years in, then suddenly they blow up out of nowhere, and then they're just like, oh my gosh, what is this? And then you get off of it, and then you blow up even more because you don't have any diuretic in you. All right. And also, it's a blood pressure lowering medication. And most people who have this, they have low blood pressure. So you're making it lower than even it is. It's not good. So then you get off of it. And now, since you were on a blood pressure lowering medication, now your blood pressure is going to start getting higher. And then it's a mess. Do not get on these pharmaceuticals. Just learn from my mistakes and avoid them. We have so much better choices, and we're going to get into those choices now. So, I got off of the spirulactone. I got off the levothyroxine, which did nothing. And I got on desiccated thyroid that I get from a compounding pharmacy, Moment Health. I think it's called Moment Health or Moment Co. or something like that. So it's like a monthly subscription thing, and then you talk to a doctor virtually, and they check your hormones, and they recheck your hormones, and they adjust with bioidentical hormones and desiccated thyroid, which is just like animal thyroid that's like dehydrated, and you just take that and it just gets what you need. And it's better than the over-the-counter stuff unless you get professional grade. So it took, I'm not going to like lie to you guys, it took like a year for them to finally regulate and get the right combo. And I still have to check it every 6 months to see if there's any tweaks that need to be made. And during that time, especially if you're like a hormonal mess, you will act a little crazy. So you have to get your family ready, prepared mentally for your craziness. And you also have to like write down somewhere, it's not them, it's me, it's my hormones. So whenever you get like upset or sad or angry, you can look at it and be like, okay, it's not, nobody's attacking me, I'm safe. It's the hormones going crazy trying to adjust. So keep that in mind. And some other things that I took. Okay, so in the morning, I take this. It's inositol powder. Let's see if I can get it. I don't know if you could. I think I have to flip this camera. Let me see if I could flip the camera. Okay. Okay, yeah. So this is great. I take this every morning. I take a scoop of it. If you're going to have like some tea or whatever you drink in the morning, you just put a scoop in that. I think it can take heat too. Then for your gut, because we all have messed up guts, I take this one, and let's see if I can get that. So I take this, and I take this for 2 months because before your period, if you get hormonal migraines, it's because of histamine. The histamines are too high. So I take that and this, let's see, L-glutamine powder. Okay. So I take that, a scoop of each of these. With every meal, I take it. These are all my supplements. So I also take vitamin D with K2. And then, let's see, I take TUDCA because our livers are messed up. So we need this to help break down stuff. And then I take Butterbur and Feverfew for hormonal migraines. It also lowers histamines. That's how it works for hormonal migraines. And then I have curcumin. This is Curcuplex 95, and this is a professional supplement. Yes, I put all my supplements in these bottles, so it makes them look cuter because it does look like I'm an insane person because I have so many supplements. But there's no multi that has exactly what you need. Like, that's crazy. Omega Mono Pure. There's these little gel caps, and this is like your omega-3s, your healthy omega-3s, because you need to completely eliminate or severely lower seed oil exposure, and this helps balance it out. If you have endometriosis or high estrogen, you need to take calcium D-glucarate. It will help lower your estrogen. I do not need this anymore because my estrogen is now thankfully balanced. But when I was balancing it, this is what I took. And there's phosphodactylserine. Good luck. I don't know if you could ever read it because, of course, I had to get the shiniest labels. All right. And then we have selenium for your thyroid. You need to have that. You know, you guys should know what selenium is. You could also take 4 Brazil nuts a day. And then MSM with glucosamine. This is a company called Move Free. This is not a professional supplement, but I will stand by this supplement. You can get it at Costco. Just make sure it has MSM with glucosamine in it. It's called Move Free. We'll take it with every meal. It just kind of coats your gut lining and lowers inflammation in your gut, which is huge. Then we have L-theanine. This will help relax you, chill you out because you're a little crazy when you're hormonal. All right, so you take some L-theanine. If you drink coffee, caffeine, you need this. You need this. You need this. This is very important. Okay. I take zinc because I was low in it. And I was high in copper, so it's without copper. Because if you're too high in copper, it lowers your zinc. If you're too low in zinc, it raises I don't know. It's just you need both together, but I only need the zinc because my copper was sky high. Because I was drinking one of those copper goblets because I heard that it's good for you. Like, I don't know, Ayurveda said it was good for you. But that's not true. If you're estrogen dominant, stay away from copper. And there's now these copper face creams, which I was taking a lot of those. I was even microneedling it in. You have to be careful with those because, again, copper raises your estrogen. So if you're endometriosis or, you're having those symptoms, do not take it. All right. And then I do not have the MTH, whatever, gene mutation. I do not have. I have maybe one copy in one of them, but I don't think it's enough to really warrant needing these type of B vitamins. But still, why not? So I take this one, the B12, and I take iodine, and I forgot what this one is for. My husband tells me every day. I ask him, what is this for? Because I keep forgetting. I think this is liver or something, or brain. This is just good. Look it up. N-acetyl L-cysteine. Try that. All right. And If you have fluid problems and you were on the birth control pill, or you were stupid like me and you took spironolactone and you need to get rid of extra puffiness fluid, take this in the morning, AM only, or you will not sleep. And this is from Quicksilver Scientific Kidney and Lymphatic Drainage. AM only, or you will not sleep. That's why I can never take it, because I don't even wake up that early. All right, and let's see. Another one, stinging nettle. Stinging nettle will help lower histamines, which before your period, your histamines will go sky high, and you can get histamine reactions, hives, migraines, itchiness, all those things, cramps, nausea. That's high histamines. So you want to avoid high histamine foods the week before your period and during your period. So vinegar, stay away from it. Unless it's after your period and before ovulation, you can have vinegar, but after that, stay away from it. Salt and vinegar chips, I love them. They'll destroy your health. When I was pregnant, I swear, after I had one small bag of salt and vinegar chips, that's when I got a full body rash, and they did not know what it was. I was bedridden. One leg would swell. I'd switch side. The other leg would swell. And I would only wake up and switch side because it would be swelling so much and so fast that it was like tearing my skin. So I had to switch to the other side because it's that crazy. Histamines. So vinegar, just look up high histamine foods and avoid them those days of the month. Just the week of your period and the week before. And if you're a guy and you happen to be watching this and you happen to be married and your wife gets all these symptoms before her period, just look up low histamine foods and tell her she needs to eat all those. And then you're going to have a better time. She's going to have less pain, less cramps, less migraines, less all of that stuff. Okay. The other thing that I do is I take progesterone cream from Moment. Again, so I do the progesterone cream and one pill of the bioidentical progesterone. So I do that at night before bed. It helps you go to sleep. It helps you calm down. It helps lower histamines. It helps balance out the estrogen if it's too high, endometriosis. So I no longer get cramps when I get my period. And I also take, if you know who Barbara O'Neill is, you'll recognize this, Anna's Wild Yam Cream. I get this from Australia. This is hella expensive, hella hard to get, but if you can get it, get it. There's a fake knockoff one on Amazon. It is not real. It will not do anything. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, it just doesn't work. You can try a few other wild yam creams and see if they do anything. I haven't found any on Amazon that work. They don't seem to be real or legitimate. But you can definitely look around and see if you could find one. But you want to go to the Anna's Wild Yam Cream Australian website, see all their ingredients, and get one that has those ingredients. You need the Vitex, you need all the other stuff, and you need to avoid things like lavender oil, like essential oils, which raises your estrogen, which is counterintuitive. Why would you want to do that? Doesn't make any sense. All right. And let's see what else. Okay. Histamine issues. This is Histal. This is a DAO. I don't know what that means, but something to do with histamines. So you take this the week before your period with every meal you eat, and it will help lower your histamines. And that's going to help with the hormonal migraines. Let's see. Anything else that I need to say about this stuff? Okay. If you take coffee, you're going to need to have the L-theanine, like I said, and you're going to need to up your magnesium. The biggest supplement that I have to say is magnesium, 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 and you need multiple types of magnesium. You need magnesium malate. Magnesium malate is going to help you every day. Like I would say the week before your period is due, take 2 to 4 pills a day. And I know it sounds like excessive. It's not, because you can never have too much, and it's going to help you balance out your hormones. So take magnesium malate. And then when you're going to go to sleep, you have sleep problems, take magnesium glycinate. those are the two magnesiums I recommend everybody has. If you are getting cramps, if you're getting muscle pains, if you're getting nausea, any migraines, anything like that, take more magnesium malate, more magnesium glycinate. Take them a lot. I think that we're just so low in it that I've never been able to like actually stomach taking more than 4 pills, but I can't imagine that taking even 6 pills would be bad because we're usually very low in it. It's no longer in our food, so we do have to take it. Another thing is every night, if you can, very important to try to take a very hot, with filtered water, try to filter out your water, very hot Epsom salt bath. And the type of Epsom salt that I get is not the one you can find, unfortunately, because that one is not the good quality kind. I forgot what it's called, but I think it's called Ancient something or other. I can't find it. But it's a type of magnesium. And okay, so someone says anxiety around the time okay. Try to check your hormones. With that anxiety, try to check your hormones. Check your diet. Try to be low in histamines. I know it sounds crazy. If you're on caffeine around your period, you're going to get more anxiety. That's what I found for me. Like if I'm taking any caffeine at all, and I do like caffeine, I do like espresso, it kind of makes me crazy. So I have the energy to like run around like a psycho, but it is bad for your hormones. So you have to take really high amounts of magnesium because it depletes all your magnesium. So you got to take way more than you think. And then the L-theanine, way more than you think. And then the zinc, not so much. You want to actually monitor that. So I'm not going to tell you how much zinc you have to take because you have to monitor it with your copper. So it's in balance. So zinc, copper balance, L-theanine, magnesium, lots of magnesium, more magnesium when you feel anxiety. And also just realize that sleep is very important. And my biggest thing is I cannot go to sleep before 9 p.m. The liver regenerates around, I think it's like 10 to 11. So if you're not in deep sleep, 10 to 11 p.m., you're going to have problem processing stuff through the liver. So that's going to make you have more hormone problems, more estrogen recirculation problems. And when it recirculates, it's more toxic form with all the side effects. So sleep is very important. Let's see. Yes, magnesium oil nightly. I use all the magnesium. So the oil I'll use, I have someone that I had on my podcast. I forgot her name. She's very sweet. She has a magnesium oil company. So if you just search my old videos for magnesium, she'll probably come up, and I use hers because it's actually very good. So it's a cream. It's not an oil, but it's an oily cream. And I just put it everywhere. If I have migraine, my neck, usually it gets it. It's like a liver thing. Right here is liver, and it goes, here. That's liver, and high histamines. So definitely magnesium on that. Also, when I get migraines, lots of magnesium. When I get migraines, also progesterone cream, bioidentical progesterone cream. Or if you have Anna's Wild Yam cream, you just put it where you have it. Boom, right there. Let's see. Yes, after having kids, your hormones are going to go crazy. It's part of having kids. You need to be like super relaxed after you have kids. And 6 years ago, yeah, you're still dealing with that. I think I wasn't good until like 7 years. Yeah, so it's going to take some time. It's really stressful. The shower filters, I would say a whole house one if you can. I can't afford that right now. It's really, really expensive. So what I do is I get, for my water, reverse osmosis, and then I put it through the filter for like the refrigerator because we tested it, and actually those filters are pretty good, which who would have thought? I thought it was garbage, but they're pretty good. But when you're bathing in it, yeah, you just need something to get rid of as much as possible. So like I don't know what it's called, but I get one from Amazon. I used to get the really big one. It looks like this, like it's freaking huge, and that's for the shower. But because I got a new shower, it's like a rain head. I can't have that type of shower head on, so I use these. I think they're like Aquasana or something, or like no, not Aquasana. Before it was Aquasana, so this one I don't know what it's called, but I'll think of one and I'll put it in the description. I'll figure it out and put it in the description. And I find that it really works, but for like really high pressure, it doesn't work as well. So you kind of have to keep the pressure low so it has enough time to filter, which, can be hard. Also, I don't know where you are, but where I am, a few times a year they do a chloramine flush. And people don't know this. They don't really have to tell you this legal, which is insane. So you'll just go to the website for your local water and they'll kind of like have like a little thing. They'll say, oh, there's like a flush coming and the dates. It's really hard to find. But during that time, the chloramine is so high that a lot of the animals, because if we don't filter our water for our animals, a lot of people don't. They just give them tap water. It's so much on their kidneys that they go into kidney failure. And a lot of animals die from that, not knowing that it's because they're doing a flush. And it's really sad. And I'm in Florida. I lost an animal from that. And I had no idea what it was. And then I just noticed like, oh, and then like you smell it in the water. You kind of smell it and you're like, it's kind of weird. And your hair gets like fried. And if you try to color your hair and rinse it out, it'll be fried. It's like a nightmare. So now we monitor that stuff. And that week, even though I have all the filters, I do not have by far a strong enough filter to get rid of that much. So I just don't wash my hair. I will use bottled water. Really sad. But I do not want my hair to fall out. I do not want it to get brittle and disgusting. And definitely my animals are only using filtered water now. Very scared of that. Yes, this is what happened. Yeah, and they don't tell you, and you're supposed to know, but how are you supposed to know these things? I don't know. And also my dad, he refuses to do filtered water because he's very old school. He's like, everything's fine. You're just paranoid. One of those people. And he got kidney problems during one of the flushes. And I told him it's because of that. And then we gave him some Chinese herbs for it and it got better, thankfully. But I told him, like, you cannot do this. But anyways, so beware of those. And let's see some other things for hormones that I recommend. If you cannot sleep, my favorite thing, because sleep is so important for hormones, is valerian. Valerian, you can get a tincture for it. And there's also a Chinese herbal tincture called happiness bark. I recommend valerian and happiness bark. I don't know what they really are, but my husband gives them to me and that's what he does for a living. He does herbs and stuff. So I just trust him and it works so well. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? We can only do so much. So if you can get a whole house water filter, definitely do it. We're saving up for it. We found mold in our house. Oh, that's a huge thing. I can't believe I forgot about that. So mold will give you hormone problems. Surprise, surprise. Mold is one of the best ways that you can get high estrogen and hormone problems and migraines and nausea and vomiting during your period and high histamines. Mold causes extremely high histamines and extremely high estrogen dominance. So if you've been exposed to mold, and being in Florida, we've probably all been exposed to mold. So the best thing you can do is check your house. What we did was we got a new roof. We had several leaks. It was really bad. We didn't own the place when we first got it. So we were like, we're going to be out of here. Who cares? Whatever. But then we ended up buying it because we couldn't buy anything else because it's such a crazy market. And we fixed the roof. And now we are removing like from under the windows below to like remove that. And then we're seeing if there's any mold there. And we're finding mold in the strangest locations of the house where you would not imagine it. And it doesn't need to be a lot of mold to make you very, very ill. So we're almost done. I think we have like 3, my bedroom and this room. So the office is going to be done next month. And just a perimeter, because there's a lot of like flooding. And if you're not really high up, and even sometimes if you are, if the water rises because it rains too fast and doesn't drain properly, it's gonna go under the concrete and up into the walls. It happens. So also around the windows, if they're not done properly, they do leak. We got new windows and doors, so like that's good. Now there's no leaks. We got them done by the best place we could find, and they actually did a great job. In fact, that day that the inspector came, he was like, I've gone to 10 houses today. You are the first one to pass inspection. What are these people doing? It's really bad out there. Like, they are just cutting corners and they do not care. So we have to be really careful. Let's see. Another thing to help with your hormones. Oh, if you do have any mold in the house, even if you don't find it, but you think you do have it or you've been exposed to it, there is a Candida cleanse that I like. It's on my husband's dispensary. And let me see if I could find that. Yes, I am typing it in. Let's see. I'll have to put it in the description below later. Okay. So I'll put it in the box. If anyone needs any supplements or anything that are professional, I recommend professional supplements. And you can get it through the dispensaries he's got listed there. And that way you don't have to worry about all the stuff. Okay. So the reason why I do not buy stuff from Amazon, I'm saying it wrong, Amazon, is because I watched this documentary and it was all about all the fake products from China. So they take real products and they make them fake and they post them on Amazon. A lot of professional supplements, they do not allow you to post on Amazon. You cannot resell on Amazon. You cannot resell on eBay. You cannot resell on Walmart, all these other resellers. So the ones that they have there are fake and you don't know what's inside of them. There's one woman, she got like a makeup. It was supposedly like an expensive brand that doesn't sell online, and it super glued her lips together. Or hair color. Hair color is huge. You think you're getting a real hair color brand. Everything looks perfectly like it did when you bought it at the store, but it's not. It's toxic. You don't know what it's doing to your hormones. You don't know what it's doing to your skin, your hair. You don't know what's going on. Then you get hair loss later. Then you get hormone problems later. So do not buy things that go on your skin or in your body from Amazon. Do not. Also, the clothing from Amazon. You think it's organic cotton. You think it's cotton, and it's not. And you can never be sure with that. So please be careful with that. Things that are okay, I find cups, glasses, mugs. I test it for lead. You can get little test kits and swab things to make sure there's no lead in it. I got a faucet from Amazon. Oh my gosh. I got a faucet from Amazon. And I was testing the cups. I'm like, oh, let me test my glasses that I got, because we don't know. It's coming from China, everything. And it's unregulated because it's not going through like a big store. So I'm swiping it and the cups were all fine. So that was great. But then I noticed when I put the swab into the water, it kind of got red, which was the reaction for lead. And then I checked and just stuck it right up the thing, and all of it was lead on the whole faucet. The faucet for my filtered water was all lead. The faucet for my water for washing my hands was all lead. And that's because you just buy it on Amazon. You're like, it's cheap, it's easy, but it's not. So be very careful. You have to spend more money. I ended up having to get like, I don't know, a $500 faucet and like a $200 one, just a little one for the filtered water. They're very expensive. Don't try to cut corners. Everything is expensive now. Everything is crazy. Let's see. Other things for your hormones that you can do. There is this, like, it's an electronic stimulation device. I really don't know if I can recommend it to people, but my husband puts it on me, and like you can, if you have a migraine, you can just find tender points, like I guess they're like acupuncture points, and you put electricity into it and it just like instantly gets rid of it. It's so weird, but I really like that. I don't really get cramps anymore, and I swear it's because of all the magnesium. The magnesium is just so good. So lots of ginger tea. So get your ginger, let's say the tea bags. I take them out of the tea bag because they're usually plastic, and I brew them in like a stainless steel steeping thing. And I'll get like 4 or 5 tea bags, empty them into there, make a very strong cup of ginger tea. Take that with 4 magnesium malate pills. And if you have a migraine, if you have cramps or anything like that, it'll just go away in a little bit. So there's that. But I'm telling you, if you take your magnesium regularly, you take your supplements regularly, you won't have those problems. So, if anybody has any other questions on hormones and if I can help you, I will. If not, that's all for today. And thank you guys for watching. And any questions you can think of, you can always leave it in the comments and I'll try to get back to it. So have a great day and bye.